Hello and welcome back to the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, episode 123. I'm your host, Jake Burke, and joined, as always, by James St. Charles and Ted Libby. James, I have a question for you and Ted. I want you to start with this question. It is not gaming related whatsoever, okay?
Okay.
If you had to fight a horse in an arena, say the Roman Colosseum, you and a horse, one-on-one, mono, horse.
Yes.
And the horse had equal amount of time to prepare for this fight to the death as you did.
Okay.
Could you fight and kill this horse?
With my bare hands?
Am I allowed tools, or is it hand to hoof combat?
Hand to hoof combat.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Could you fight and kill this horse, or do you think this horse would eventually get the best of you?
I think if I was prepared enough, yes, because you go for the legs and you break their legs. They're really fragile.
That's true. And then they come out and they shoot it with a shotgun like a racetrack.
Yeah.
I would. I don't think I could beat a horse.
I don't think I could beat it.
I think James, with the right strategy, you can beat it.
James simply talks about going for the legs. If you get on the wrong end of a horse leg, you're out. You're done.
Oh, yeah.
Easy peasy. Similarly, if the horse, even with 10,000 hours of training, if a horse were to get on the wrong end of my foot, I think it would just be pissed off.
Maybe you just go for like the neck and snap its neck or something like that.
It's a big neck. Have you touched a horse's neck? You can't. That's a.
Yeah. You can.
You'd have to.
That's a neck to twist.
Yeah. I don't think you can.
You have to
and then it's once again,
pull it down by the mane.
If you're wrong and that horse takes off and you get trampled,
oh my god, you're done.
So that's 3,000 pound hoofs in your tummy.
That's a lot of hoofs. That's a lot of hoofs.
Yeah, I don't. With no weapons, I don't think you can do it.
But enough about horses, because this is the 123rd episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, where every Monday morning a new episode goes live on YouTube.com. And Ted, can I say it? Are we going to be on Spotify this week?
I think so. We're going to try.
We're going to be on
Spotify. We're going to try with Spotify. We're going to branch out from there. I think is a good plan.
Let us know what you're using.
Sure, Spotify works.
You're using Friendster or whatever.
Yeah. If any Stitcher users are out there, please let me know.
Any wizards?
Amazon apparently has a podcast platform.
We're going to be on it. We're going to be in your ears.
Targeting all the platforms.
I think we should upload all of our episodes individually to LimeWire.
LimeWire still?
I mean, what are the odds? We put this thing on Pornhub, we could be through the roof.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
You know?
We'd be in their other category.
Looking for your favorite video, and then you stumble upon a topic like, is the Switch dead? And you zip up your pants and you go, I'm actually kind of curious. Is the Switch dead? You know?
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
All right, so, average Pornhub listener. James?
Well, sorry, above average.
Above average, sorry.
Yes. Connoisseur. Pornhub connoisseur.
Above average. I want to just your gut take when I say this question. Is the Switch dead?
And my gut take is no.
I like it. Ted, what is your gut take? Where are you coming at this conversation?
Are we back to the horse being shot with a shotgun in the arena of like maybe it should be dead? Is that
should we beat this horse?
Like no, the question isn't should the Switch be dead?
Oh, okay.
Is it?
Is it dead?
Is it dead or dying, I guess? Is the Switch dying?
The Switch is dying. I don't think it is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with James. It's not. It should be. We should be shooting this thing in the street coming out of the Switch 2.
Yeah.
We're not. Sorry, my cat has not stopped meowing since we started this show outside the...
Thank you. Yeah, she's upset. She believes the Switch is dead.
You believe the Switch is dead. So
like, wait, I have an opinion.
You have an opinion?
Oh, boy.
No.
Oh, the cat. Scout does have an opinion.
Your cat.
Thank you. So I have some Switch facts for you. And I've asked Ted to prepare some Switch stuff as well, so maybe he has. His look is that he has not prepared anything.
I was like, you didn't ask me anything.
All right, the Switch released March 3rd, 2017. When it first launched, there was a total of 13 games on there. There's actually only 6 on day 1, but by day 2, there was 13. The highlighted games, the ones they really promoted, were Breath of the Wild, pretty good game, and Snipper Clips. Remember Snipper Clips?
Nope.
I do remember Snipper Clips.
Snipper Clips is where you had to like cut shapes out of stuff and like move your shape characters around. It was like a co-op game. There was also a game 1-2 Switch, which was really big, which was like had a bunch of mini games that people liked. And I don't think they must have ever played Switch.
No, but just before you continue, I want to say that there's only 13 good games on the Switch. All right, continue.
Still to this day.
Yes.
Wow, that's fired. Sales figures now as of today, February 2023. The Switch has sold 120 million units. It's the third best-selling console of all time. The only ones in front of it, the first best-selling console of all time is PS2. PS2 is one of those kind of elite things because people started just buying it as a DVD player by the end of its life cycle, so it's a little skewed. But that is 155 million. The Nintendo DS is number 2, and that is 154 million.
Oh, it's easily gonna hit it this year then.
You think Switch? I think Switch will probably pass it.
Switch surpassed it this year, especially with the, coming out.
Oh yeah,
The big
guns.
The big
So
Z.
the other thing that's interesting is the best-selling game on the Switch is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is a remake of Mario Kart 8 from the Nintendo Wii U, and it has 52 million units as of the end of December last year. So it's got a roughly, over 1/3 attach rate. Crazy for a video.
Yep.
So why did you say the Switch is kind of dying? What brings you to that conclusion?
Well, no, I didn't say
you're
that.
not. Sorry, you
Ted,
said no.
Ted said that.
Ted, why did
I
you
said
say
no,
it's kind of dying?
Because, well, as we will get into, the Switch came out in the opening years of the Switch. There were a couple of absolutely banger games. Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild come to mind, and I don't mean that subjectively. I mean that like technically they were really fun and interesting games. They would look beautiful, or at least they were working with what they had.
I would argue too. Just start to still to this day the best probably Switch games.
And that's the thing, is they haven't
Mario Kart
excelled past that. And Mario Kart 8 is kind of weird because that was a Wii U game technically, but I guess they kind of sort of upresed it. And still to this day, those two games are still held as like those were the best ones, and we haven't seen that upward trajectory that we usually see with console, especially as you master the hardware.
Right.
If anything, it feels like people are demastering the hardware, it's getting harder, it seems, or they're struggling to keep up with the Switch.
Yeah.
And so that's why, like, it is not dead, but I think it is dying because more and more people are struggling to work with it.
Right. Well, and the Switch's like bread and butter for so long now has been the report of something that was great on PC or PS5 or PS4, excuse me, and now it's available portable.
It's on Switch.
Such a big Switch thing that I think that's like where the Steam was for a long time, and then Nintendo would port some pretty good games to it or something, or bring like a new first party. But you're not seeing that either anymore.
No. Yeah, it's not worth it. I'm guessing they weren't seeing the numbers wise, like spending that time to port it to Switch. Maybe like some indie games, but maybe not like a Doom or something like that.
Definitely not for modern games. More and more of games coming out today, 2023, that are supposed to be for the Series X and the PS5. You're starting to see delays with the Switch version, or the Switch version just getting endlessly pushed back, not even with delayed without a date. Yeah. Sometimes even canceled.
Well, they've experimented. Sorry, they've experimented with like the cloud system as well. Yeah. Like controls on the Switch, but like through the cloud or whatever. So sorry, but yeah, with Hogwarts Legacy, that was delayed as well, right?
Yeah, that was delayed till July. We don't know if that will stick. We will see.
I don't see how Hogwarts can run well on the Switch.
It's got to be cloud.
It's pretty demanding. Yeah, cloud. We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, and from what I understand, I've never tried a game on the cloud Switch service, but like that's not particularly great either.
I wouldn't imagine any internet service with Nintendo is good.
What? Come on, James.
No.
Right. In every way, the console still feels like last gen. Like their internet's not up to speed with what's happening now. It was barely up to speed with what was going on then.
I don't even think it was, even when it was current or in the same generation. Switch is weird too because it kind of came out in the middle of the last generation, so it's like saying console that doesn't fit into the generation.
Did it come out before or after the PS4 Pro?
I think it came out the same year.
Okay.
PS4 Pro, I think, came out in 2017 as well.
Right. Okay.
But like a little earlier.
Yeah.
So James, you said no, it's not dying.
No.
Why is it not dying?
It's not dying because, well, of course, they recently released the OLED Switch, and people got that, and people will probably get more of it once they pick up the new Zelda game. they've had really good numbers with Pokemon recently. I mean, you have there are three IPs basically: Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon that are just going to carry the Switch forever. They could stay on this for like the longest time ever, and making those games that really suck, but have such a strong audience from anyone was a kid.
Yeah.
Or who currently is a kid, right?
Yeah, or currently is a kid. Yeah.
Nintendo will always use that as their defense of like, we're a kids company that makes toys for kids.
Right.
Like,
And I think
why are you asking for high fidelity, deep gameplay mechanics? Because this is a game for children.
You as a kid, like all of us as a kid playing video games, it was like the best thing ever. It was like, this is amazing graphics. I can't believe like I'm playing this. Looks incredible. Versus when you look back on it now, it's like, oh man, that sucked.
Yeah.
But as a kid, it's like, oh, you're playing a game. Like I'm just gonna play. I don't really excuse my language, give a fuck about the graphics.
Whoa.
Give a hoot.
This is a
yeah, so like
podcast.
I was just caring about the gameplay, and so like you're gonna have fun playing some Mario, even though it doesn't look as good as like Last of Us Next Gen or something like that. But that market is still it's still gonna be selling a lot of units.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna break the record. They're gonna keep doing numbers on these IP that people say, oh nope, it's not good, it's dying. So that's why I say no, it's not dying. Does it deserve to die? Maybe they deserve to finally like come out with something new, which maybe they can reveal this year. I don't know. But I think we were discussing this, I don't know how many weeks ago, Jake, but even if they come out with something new, it's not going to be anytime soon.
No,
like the manufacturing, everything is so bogged down. If they announce them this year, it's probably 2 years out, maybe even more.
Do you mean a console hardware? Or are we talking software? Like a pop? Okay, yeah.
Console?
Oh, it would be more than 2 years out.
There
absolutely.
were like hypothetical rumors floating around that even like Jason Schreier on Triple Click and stuff has kind of like mentioned that there were plans to make something new.
Pro, yeah. Yeah, they had concrete stuff.
They had supply chain issues and just pulled it. They pulled the whole thing.
And there's still issues. Yeah. Like nothing is secured until probably like out more than 2 years. So
I think, I'm with James in the camp that like it's not dead. I think the Switch is around for another 2 to 3 years.
Yeah,
as Nintendo's main console.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see rapidly different development. I think it's hard to say like the Pokemon game was really a sour spot because the shit sold like 26, 27 million
and it will always sell
a month or whatever. Yeah. So it's like Nintendo's not looking at that being like, oh, that was a failure. It didn't perform well. Like, no, it performed very well. Who cares about performance? But like I think we're going to talk about this a lot next week when we talk about Hogwarts Legacy, which we're all playing. Is like the magic of what a game is to what a game is doing. And like I think Nintendo often gets the Nintendo pass, where like the game doesn't have to be great, but it's a Nintendo game, so we all kind of love it. Yeah. And like Pokemon Arceus, if that was any other game, like if it didn't have the Pokemon brand and license, the game itself sucked. I mean, I'm just gonna say it was boring. It was long. It was, you sit there and just read dialogue boxes forever.
Yeah.
But it's Pokemon, so we all like are like, oh my god, there's a Charmander.
Oh my god, it's a Pokemon.
This is so cool, you know?
Yeah.
And like it gives you that like kind of endorphin boost that you had when you were a kid. Zelda and Mario are kind of the only like outliers in that for right now. I think like the Metroid game that came out recently. What was that?
Yeah. Metroid Prime Remaster. Oh, never mind.
Metroid Dread is good. It's not the best Metroidvania not even close to the best Metroidvania we've gotten in a long time. But that game got a boost of like, no, this is a great Metroidvania game. It's a Metroid game. Yeah. And I think like they kind of get their boosts in that way, and so they don't have to ever be at the forefront of tech.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of an interesting bubble to be in as Nintendo now, where you're like releasing a Pokemon game that can't run.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so that I think is like where I come at is like, it's not dead, but it should be.
Yeah.
And Nintendo needs to look at what everyone else is doing and maybe get on that page. Like the Steam Deck is out. We have Steam Decks. 2 of us. Yeah. Sorry, Ted.
That's okay.
Yeah, I haven't really played mine much, but I probably should. But like that is like a PC that runs like high fidelity games like Red Dead Redemption 2. The Switch couldn't even remotely run the first Red Dead, maybe, like it would really truck to do that. So like that's kind of an interesting console to be in.
Yeah, that's with the aging hardware and more demand. Like the games really need to try hard to or developers need to try hard to optimize their games for the Switch, and they're just not going to do that. Whereas first party Nintendo studios will spend that time, and as we've seen, like it can definitely look good with the original Breath of the Wild. So we're probably expecting that with Tears of the Kingdom coming out soon.
Yeah,
so I know I personally am having problems with the Nintendo bubble, as you called it. When you mentioned that, my first thought was I believe it was last year's Kirby game.
Yes.
Where that game came out, and it was a Kirby game, and it was functional, and it looked the way that it did. And I ended up not picking it up because it looked boring to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, nostalgia aside, like I was just like, this is kind of a kid's game. I don't really want to spend premium price $60.
It was very easy.
On a kid's game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very easy, and the co-op was kind of lackluster. And so having that bubble burst, it happened again with Pokemon Violet. I bought it, I played it, I acknowledged that it was a Pokemon game that was doing something different, and then I went, I just don't really want to play this. And so for me, it's just kind of this thing of like, if that bubble bursts, if that bubble breaks for enough people, what is Nintendo going to do? Do they care? They are a kids company that makes toys for kids. Like,
and this is what they're going to do. I'm laying out their strategy right now. They just released Metroid Prime Remastered, and it did well.
Insanely well.
It did really well.
Insanely well, and people really adapt to it. So this is what they do. They're going to go on their
board
meeting.
Have either of you two played it?
Not yet.
I'm gonna. I bought it.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's sick. It's great.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I've seen
this game.
Yeah, but that's cheating, right? It was a great game.
Let James finish.
Let me finish the point.
Jesus.
So, anyways, they're gonna sit in a boardroom and be like, "Wow, this Metroid Prime game that we remastered did really well. What other IP do we have that we can remaster will do well on our Switch console that'll run it?" They're gonna look back at their catalog between GameCube, all these other ones, and remaster some more games.
Yeah,
it won't just be Metroid. It could be Pokemon. Could Pokemon Coliseum? Maybe we can get some more old Mario games. Mario All Stars.
Nintendo game.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying people will sit at the board. Yeah. They're gonna. Nintendo will.
What's Mario All Stars?
Mario All Stars is like it's a cart.
Baseball.
Yeah. You're right.
Was that
Super Mario Sluggers?
Sluggers.
No. Was it Sluggers?
There's an All Stars.
Is a cart that had like 3 different Mario games on it.
Yeah, I think so. And then, but there was a Superstars. I think I know the GameCube baseball game. I know exactly what you're talking about.
GameCube baseball game. Yeah, anyways,
which I would absolutely love.
We're getting another.
But anyways, I think you're gonna see more remasters of old GameCube games, and people will be like, "Oh, this is sick." That's what's gonna sell.
Mario Superstars.
Superstars. Yeah.
I think you're right, James. I think that we're gonna see in the next year for the Switch just like a dump of ports. Where they've already got these Wii U ports of like Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, and like big Zelda games. They've got DS ports of Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time. Like, I imagine those are coming.
I mean, they're doing it already with the emulation. So it's like they'll have the emulation, but then these ports, there's no GameCube emulation. There is a good market to make the GameCube games functional.
I was thinking about that with Metroid Prime, because Metroid Prime is really good, by the way. Highly recommend it if anyone wants to check it out. It's a great game back then. It's a great game now. Just for funsies, I recommend everyone play a few hours of it as it is, and then go to the settings and switch it to the GameCube controls. And just remember how shit that was, because it's hilariously awful, and it's great that they kept it in the game. You can play GameCube controls, you can play Wii controls, you can play modern. It's hilarious.
I remember playing that game like when it came out, and it was. When I think back, it was amazing to play on the GameCube. Mm-hmm. So I can't imagine like going back and trying to like see how clunky it was. Like if you think about that with like old PlayStation games and all that, it's like
they've done a very good job of washing down or sanding down that clunk.
That's how you save a lot of these old games.
So that's my biggest concern with Nintendo. It's like, okay, let's forget about AAA. That's not going to happen. At this point, I'm kind of forgetting about their little like fun side projects, because like their Mario Golf and their Mario Strikers to me just didn't land.
They just didn't feel
super hollow.
They're hollow. Yeah, like, and maybe one day when we're all like when you can just buy the Nintendo Switch collection for $20, they'll be great. But like right now for full price, they're hollow. You know, they don't seem to have it.
They don't have like any.
They don't have anything.
There's stuff
Like,
inside of it.
There's nothing in it.
The game is there, but no stuff.
Yeah. So like, what I want
Same
from
with Wii
Nintendo,
Sport or the Nintendo Switch Sports.
yeah, it's like serviceable, but it doesn't feel premium. It doesn't feel top. It doesn't feel worth a full price game.
No.
But like I want from Nintendo is a game plan, because in the exact same Nintendo Direct, they announced Game Boy emulation for their online service. And then they also said we're remastering a GameCube game singularly and we're putting it on sale. And it's like, one of my predictions, we were talking about it in our prediction show, was that they would make a GameCube emulator. Yeah. And so it's like, if Nintendo's just going to go back and, revisit the classics, like, how are they going to do that? How is my wallet going to be affected? Like, these are the questions I have for Nintendo, because I'm okay with them doing that, with kind of going back and, making Ocarina of Time remastered for the Switch. But Ocarina of Time is available for their N64 emulation if you pay for that tier.
So I don't think they'll do any of the N64 emulation ones. I just think it will be strictly for possibly GameCube, Wii U, Wii.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Ocarina of Time remade in an RE2 remake, like, people would kill for that.
I would kill for that. I'd kill both.
I mean, they would, but I just don't see. So there's this like interesting, like, I don't know the teams, like what they can do, like, because they can have what you have with PlayStation or with, I don't know, Xbox has one, but PlayStation definitely has their remaster teams and their remake teams. They're not gonna put their core people who were actually work on the game or actually like work on current Zelda or current Mario and all that on these remake projects. So
and
Nintendo,
to your point, it's really difficult to find out how Nintendo operates internally.
It baffles everyone's mind how they fucking operate.
I know,
but you know what?
Yeah,
they're printing money. They're still gonna print money.
Yeah, generally speaking, like, if I'm going to believe in the Switch for the next 3 years until they can get a Super Switch out the door, I want.
It's a great game, by the way.
Yeah, I want a game plan from them, like, because they keep making these kind of weird, wacky left field moves that just either hit or they miss, or they hit or they miss, and it's just, and like, our engagement with the Switch goes up and down. We're like, 3 weeks ago, Jake and I planned some show topics, and one of them was like, the Switch sucks. Like, that was our show topic. And then they completely
got derailed.
And then they had a Nintendo Direct where they were just like, hey, Game Boy stuff for free.
Pikmin,
really,
Prime.
Yeah, really good Metroid remake out today. Like, they're just doing this weird stuff that's making it really difficult to understand where they're going moving forward.
They'll always be relevant.
They will, because, like, I mean, shit, we're all gonna play Zelda day one.
Yeah, we're gonna play one of the best games of the year.
Yeah, and we
know it's gonna be good.
It is gonna be good because it's just they're making it on the same engine.
It's the same. Yeah,
it's the same game.
We know it's the same game, but we don't care because we want the same game. We want to go back and have some new adventures in that world.
It's like, what else do you got? Because
that's it.
And maybe Nintendo's not worried about keeping everybody past a certain limit. Maybe they're just, getting the new people on, right? Or is the Switch about, we hope that, 1/8 of the Switch users buy Pikmin 4, and then it's a financial success, and cool, we made another Pikmin game.
Yeah.
Or like, like you were saying, Ted, it feels less calculated than like the Sony roadmap or whatever, where we know kind of what we're getting from Sony for the next few years, or kind of have like a general idea. Where it's like,
or any game developer who has a public roadmap. Like, there are plenty of
Ubisoft, yeah.
Well, sort of. They have a roadmap. They make the same game all the time.
I'm just curious, like, how their other markets are doing. Like, we keep talking about like kind of like our market, but maybe the Japanese market is still pretty strong. I don't know.
It is very strong.
Yeah.
And a lot of the games that we're talking about, and a lot of games that we've never heard of, are like their top sellers.
Right.
I think 2022 Mario Kart 8 was still the top seller in Japan, which is wild.
Yeah.
But also, like, Monster Hunter, both Monster Hunters are up in their top
Monster
5.
Rise is like a huge thing over there.
Like, Rise and World are both.
Is it Wild Hearts coming out? Isn't that like a Monster Hunter game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's coming out for everything.
That's the Neo people making a Monster Hunter.
Really?
Slightly more. Apparently, it's incredible, which just another 150 hours onto the backlog.
Yeah, exactly.
February 16th. Yeah, it's coming out.
Yeah.
Not for Switch though. Let's just say that.
No.
Yeah.
What is Switch? I mean, so like, we are maybe no longer the audience for what the Switch is. Maybe the Switch is casual.
Maybe more for kids.
I completely agree. I will walk with Nintendo when they say that they are a kids company who make games or make toys for children. Like these games just aren't for me. And like Monster Hunter Rise is this wild, weird exception that Capcom pumped out, and but like Nintendo proper children's games.
No, but I think I agree with Jake in that it's casual in the sense like my sister plays her Switch every fucking day and plays Pokemon and like the one that sucks and loves it. And like maybe these casual people who like played Animal Crossing throughout pandemic and played all these other like games, like it has a really big casual appeal.
Yeah.
And it's a low entry point, I think, in price, especially right now. It is the cheapest console you can get.
It's a $300 console.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think
cheap, low entry, and all these casual games they can play.
And there's a huge backlog of every indie game that's ever come out ever. Now, pretty much, is essentially on there, except for Pyre. Pyre's not on there.
Yeah, and cheaper for kids to get into as well. It's a cheaper console.
Yeah, I think for me, what is a bummer about when I think of the Switch, when I look at I don't think I played the Switch last year, really. Like, I don't think I played a game. Oh, Arceus, Pokemon Arceus. I think I played.
Strikers,
yeah.
Yeah, what a forgettable 15 hours that was with, just praying that game was going to get better, and it never did.
Well, I mean, like,
let me give you Luigi's Mansion 3.
That's right.
Jake, if you came over, we could have a great time playing Mario Strikers.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to discount that, but like in terms of a 2022 product with their live services and online modes and just all these things that games can provide nowadays, it didn't have that.
But also,
Strikers will be great.
Ted, you and I in 2022 should be able to play online and play Strikers and have zero issues, and we will have
zero issues.
A litany of issues that make it no longer fun to keep trying to play this game. Trying to play Smash Bros. Online is one of the most infuriating things ever. And like, I get it, it's a fighting game and they're not great online, blah, blah, blah. But like playing Street Fighter on a PS5 online opposed to Switch, Smash Bros. Is
Multiverses has very little issues. Well, it has issues, but it has very little connectivity issues.
Yeah. Any of the modern fighting games will have rollback or good internet quality.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, it kills your game because it happened to King of Fighters.
Oh, yeah.
Except for unless you're Nintendo.
Well, unless you're Nintendo, it doesn't matter.
But they make great party games, and I think like taking the multiplayer fun experience out of like what we can do on the Switch together and on the same couch, that is different. But you can find that in almost every kind of console or something. Like there is that there, everything. What really bums me out about Nintendo when I think about the Switch, what kind of that promise was with the first game on it, which was Breath of the Wild. Like that is their first game on the Switch. They reinvented a genre. They took the just repetitiveness of open worlds that we had seen all last generation and like kind of just changed the formula a little bit that like we're now a lot of companies are copying. Like Elden Ring doesn't exist without Breath of the Wild. Like it just doesn't. The sense of open discovery just isn't there because that's kind of the Breath of the Wild was like, we are not going to do waypoint things. Like that's not what we're doing. We're not going to do like this massive quest log that like now go here and follow the waypoint and stuff. Like that's not what Breath of the Wild was. And then Elden Ring came out, but like I think what bums me out is like they did that and then they kind of stopped. They reinvented something and then they're like, cool, we did it.
Yeah, we haven't gotten anything since. No, it does. And then so to that point, like I think we talked about, it is one of the best games on the Switch, and it'll probably be beaten by the next game that comes out. Yeah, right. Sadly, and then like just like with VR, Half-Life Alyx is the best game, and then there's nothing that's basically come out since. Like that's even touched it in terms of a virtual reality game, and probably won't. And so what happens when a console creates their game and it's like the standard, and then no one else competes to it? Is that a problem with the hardware? Is that a problem with the game? So I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I think it's a problem with the hardware because no third-party developer can really develop for this hardware.
Nope.
Yeah. That's a problem.
I think technically, not like technically, but like technologically, I think it's a problem with the hardware in that so many games have come out since and struggle performance-wise. Pokemon, other games.
Pokemon.
But also like, Breath of the Wild doesn't have any multiplayer. Multiplayer struggles with the Switch. It has from day one. It still is today.
It doesn't need multiplayer though. Like you don't need to have multiplayer for a lot of these games.
But like in terms of the Switch, like these are technical issues that the Switch never was able to overcome.
Right.
Right. I think that's the problem with it. It sounds funny. It peaked on its first fucking swing, like the Switch has never reached Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, and it's those weird, and it also had its cultural impact, especially during the pandemic. But like, if you look back at the Switch's catalog, like kind of what you're talking about with Strikers, where like it's pretty forgettable.
Mm-hmm.
Like 1-2 Switch would have been an awesome pack-in game. But that was $60 when it came out. Like that was a full price game for a couple of like party mini games that showed off the haptic feedback.
There's one where you could shake at your thing and try to figure out how much ice cubes you had in the glass.
Yeah, like that was neat, but that was not $60 neat. And I think that has continued for so many of Nintendo's first party products, where like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, great game, straight up port of the Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
$60, buy it full price, and you're just like, a 2D platformer that came out like 4 or 5 years ago at this point,
and never goes down in price. Never goes on sale. Never.
Yeah. I think
$40 to $50 is exactly where those need to be.
Yeah. I
don't know.
No, I mean, I had no problem paying $40 for Metroid Prime.
Me neither.
I was like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and maybe we'll start to see it with Metroid Prime being the first one, but like Nintendo needs to reevaluate how they value their own products, because keeping them all at just a flat top tier. I mean, Tears of the Kingdom is going to be $70 for the record. A lot of people are crying about that. I sort of understand it, but I was thinking about it of like when I bought Hogwarts Legacy last a couple days ago. You can buy it for $60 for the Xbox One, or you can buy it for $70 for the Series X upgrade.
That's
like the $10
for the PC.
Yeah, the $10 upgrade to $70 is specifically for the upgraded version.
Wait, is it $60 on Steam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
these $70 games have been $60 on PC.
Yeah, like the $10 upgrade is for graphics, is for the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
So for Nintendo to just say like, oh, well, our game's going to be $70 too. It's like, well, you guys do not have that kind of graphical capacity. What $10 upgrade am I getting here? Nothing. So I think Nintendo really needs to reevaluate where they're coming from with these premium prices.
I would agree. I think so too. I think that's interesting. I didn't realize the PC thing at all. Actually, I didn't know that.
I mean, it'll be 70 eventually.
Yeah, I know it will.
I think
sure.
Call of Duty was 70.
Okay.
But it's just like it just depends.
Last of Us Part 1 comes out really, or Returnal, like a Returnal or Last of Us Part 1.
Returnal came out today.
Yeah, is it 60 or 70?
I'll tell you right now.
I can check right now.
Yeah, let me know.
I will tell you.
That's actually kind of interesting because Returnal was $70 on PS5.
Returnal is 60.
How much is Last of Us Part 1?
Last of Us Part.
Is that
Wild Hearts is 70, by the way.
Yeah, I'm curious about pricing.
I guess it just depends. Maybe Last of Us. I feel like Last of Us would be.
I'm thinking
no, Last of Us is 60.
Weird. Okay, that's so weird.
Yeah. Some are 60 and some are 70. I guess. I don't know. I don't know what's
the large third party heavy hitters, EA's, 2K's, Activision's. They're doing 70. They're making a standardized price.
I'm just saying they're 60 for now, but they'll eventually move to 70.
Yeah.
It's just some are still 60.
Yeah, I don't mean to disparage the price increase. Like we're getting a whole next generation of graphical updates and quality. Right. Like $10 extra is fine. I'm not getting any of those things on the Switch.
No, and that's why I'm curious with what comes out after the Switch. Say there's another 2D Mario game or something that comes out in fall, because there's got to be some fall game.
I have a list.
Thank you.
Oh,
hey, we haven't gotten your list yet. But just that next pillar game where like Tears of the Kingdom, I think is weird because like it's the sequel to the best game maybe Nintendo's ever made, right? And so it's like, yeah, they're gonna be like, remember that game? Yeah, pay a big money for the next one. But like what is like the next Mario game? Is that $70? Thank you, Jace. Or like the next Star Fox game? Are we paying $70 for a Star Fox game? Probably not.
They said they would evaluate it on a game by game basis.
Gotta love Nintendo. It's all gonna be 70. Y'all fucked.
Yeah, and it's just like I think they really need to reevaluate again how they're doing their prices.
So Ted, do you have some of like the top releases for this coming year? And what you have?
So I have what I can find for the 2023 Nintendo Switch quote unquote exclusives.
Okay.
These are games that as far as we know are coming out on only the Switch or like a Switch and PC. They're not coming to the regular consoles.
Yeah.
And I'll start with January. We had Fire Emblem Engage.
Yeah,
which
cared about that.
Yeah, like it was a good game, but like it's a Fire Emblem. It's like a deep Fire Emblem game. If you're not into that kind of stuff, if you're not Japan, you're probably not going to worry about it.
Well, I love Fire Emblem Three Houses, but like, I don't need to play another Fire Emblem game.
Yeah. My only thought with playing Engage was like, I had never played Three Houses. I could check out the Switch Fire Emblem game.
Right.
They're both $60.
Why not play the new one? Because the old one isn't on sale.
Right. So next we had that shadow drop of Metroid Prime Remastered with great critical and financial success, as well as the Game Boy emulator that was technically came out. In February, we've got Octopath Traveler 2.
Any fans here? Nope. Okay. Nope.
No, my roommate played it on Game Pass and didn't like it.
Okay.
No.
It's a heavy JRPG.
Yeah, the developer, same with Triangle Strategy.
Yeah, so it's a Jason Schreier staple.
Yeah, he fucking loves
he loves
Octopath.
Yep.
And he really liked Triangle Strategy too.
But he's a JRPG guy.
Yeah.
So if you're a JRPG guy, you like it.
Kirby Return to Dreamland, which is a 2D Mario game, or excuse me, 2D Kirby game.
2D Mario
Really?
game.
Wait, Return to Dreamland, like Nightmare in Dreamland type?
Yeah, Kirby's Return to Dreamland, which is a new 2D Kirby game coming out in February.
So definitely not $70.
60.
God damn.
$60.
You're not getting a $30 Kirby game, James.
Give me I'll pay a $40.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everything on this list is 60 or above.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have Bayonetta Origins, which I have to admit I did not look that deeply into.
It's not the same third-person style. I think it's like a side scroller or something.
It looks like an
a
artistic
top-down.
2D game. Yeah.
It's like it's not Bayonetta style.
Yeah.
It's like
not what you're thinking of Bayonetta.
No, and I've never played a Bayonetta, so who cares?
Yeah.
You got gun shoes or some shit.
People really liked 1 and 2. 3 was a little talk about
like the
Switch dying.
They like the assets? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
they
some
do.
good assets.
Yeah, great character design on that game.
Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp.
Yeah, that's another reboot. So right now the top 2 games on my list were games that already came out.
Yeah. Reboot Camp is a full 60 and claims online multiplayer. We'll see how that goes.
We're gonna play
that could be pretty easy for all.
Yeah, I think that could be too.
Yeah.
I would imagine so, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see.
That's a slam dunk multiplayer.
If someone was going to screw up turn-by-turn combat multiplayer, it's Nintendo. So, fair enough.
Yeah. For all we know, games will just drop and then you lose all progress. What is it? I almost said The Last of Us. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom in May.
We talked a lot about it.
Yeah. Pikmin 4 will be coming out soon after. I think that date is TBD.
I'm not into the new Pikmin, so I guess are any of us?
I'm willing to check it out.
Okay.
One of my good friends has played a lot. Pikmin 3 is one of his favorite games of all time.
I've heard people really love Pikmin 3, so it's like
and I've heard that
Pikmin 4 is more like Pikmin 2 from what I've read.
So you're digging deep. All I know is people really like Pikmin for its co-op, so I'm pretty excited for it. Just
Pikmin 3 is on
tangentially.
the Switch as well, right?
I played a lot of Pikmin 1.
It was a Wii U game,
Pikmin
I
1.
believe it was ported to the Switch.
It was ported to the Switch, yeah.
Okay.
It's called Pikmin 3 Deluxe.
And then we have 2 dates technically TBA. Hollow Knight Silk Song was listed on the websites that I looked at for PC and Switch.
On everything.
Move on.
What's up?
That game's on everything. That game's on Xbox. It's premiere. It's been on like Xbox showcases and stuff.
Okay.
Yep.
And then Disney Illusion Island, once again, date TBA. We really don't have a second half of the year for what Nintendo's got in stock.
They got a Mario game.
That's really it?
Yeah, that's about it.
They're going to have some Mario game this year. There's no way they release the movie without a Mario game.
What if they release like a movie Mario game?
I'd be into that, or at least the art style. I'd be into that.
I'd like that.
With Chris Pratt, I would.
Yeah, with Chris Pratt fully voicing. Yeah.
What kind of a Mario game would they make?
I think my guess is you're going to get some new 2D Mario game this year because there really is not
Mario and Luigi's Mansion. No,
you're good. But like, what's that? Like, I think you just need like the new Super Mario Bros. Those old games, but you need something like a new 2D Mario game.
Yeah,
there's our Saga.
Yeah,
bring it back.
Bring it back. I think they've been doing a lot of those on like the DS, 3DS thing, and then that all that.
There's one 3 Super Mario and Luigi.
Do you remember that toy
games.
Mario game for the DS? Yeah, it was like
Paper Mario.
No, but it was like toys. It was like they actually had like little like wind up toy Marios and.
No.
Let me look it up. Like circle back to me.
Okay. We'll come back to you. Honestly, pretty.
Yeah, they're once again with Nintendo's
Mario vs. Donkey Kong Miniland.
Oh, I do remember this game now. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like you had to. Yeah, it was like a use your toys to go up the ladders.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Fun
game.
Yeah, they've got some stuff, and some of it could be neat. They have one banger that they're clearly putting all of their cards into.
Yeah. But you would too. And you would if you were Nintendo. You're really backing this.
Yeah, but once again, like this list just shows kind of their lack, it seems, of a game plan. Like, what is in store? Like it would be really nice for someone like me who enjoys the Mario sports games on occasion, or the Mario Party games, if you want to broaden it out, to just say like consistently say or confidently say like, we're gonna have another one of those. We're gonna have another like party friendly, couch friendly Nintendo games coming out soon.
Mario Civ.
I'm in.
Mushroom Kingdom Civilization.
Man, that'd be really fun.
Just Mushroom Kingdom. I
would love a brand new Mario type IP, which I mean, don't think that comes out this year, but I don't know. I would love
a Mario baseball, but we're all dreaming.
Closing argument for this. What is the one thing that could really get the Switch or Nintendo back on track in your eyes? Like, is it this game plan?
What 4K Switch.
Yeah, a new Switch.
4K Switch.
That's where I'm at. All right, cool.
That's sadly it. It's just they need new hardware. New console. Yeah.
Does it still have the same where you remove it and you take it to the bathroom when you need to poop? Or
Switch is so successful, it still needs to be portable in some way. Maybe it's not like exactly like the dock type style, but it needs to be portable. It needs to be OLED. The OLED Switch is amazing. It needs to have an OLED screen. Everything's going OLED. It needs to be 4K. And I don't know if that's hardware is possible, because even like Switch's hardware with the AMD chip like can't really do 4K. So maybe they're right in waiting a little bit for a couple of years for AMD to get their chipset going and make some 4K portable consoles.
Yeah, no. To answer your question more seriously, I don't think a new Switch needs to happen, but it needs to happen at the right time, under the right circumstances, where they can really do it and do it big. I wouldn't want them to rush out another Switch, kind of like how I didn't buy an OLED Switch, because what's the point?
They don't want another Wii U.
Yeah, they don't want half steps, and I can appreciate that. In terms of games that are coming out, that is a whole nother question.
Nothing.
I think a lot depends on Breath of the Wild's success, obviously. But maybe just make sequels of your heavy hitters. Whatever the next Super Mario Odyssey would be pretty cool.
Can you believe we don't have a sequel to that?
So I can't believe that.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
I think mine is kind of a similar vein to Ted but for me it's like, I think Nintendo needs to figure out their demographic. They need to figure out if they are a toy company for kids, or if they're a video game company, because the video game audience is growing, and our generation has proven that we're not stopping playing video games because we're adults. That's that's a hobby that we have. Like our parents read magazines or whatever, like that's what we do. And so like I think Nintendo needs to figure out, like, are we a company that's staying current with gaming, or are we a company for kids to learn about video games?
Yeah.
And like, what are they? And they constantly have that crisis of faith.
Yeah.
And your best game of the last 3 or 4 years should not be Hades. That wasn't your game.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't be the pillar of what I think. You should play on the Switch is Hades. Like, and
even then, don't play Switch on that. Like it performs better on the other consoles.
Right. It's better on everything else. But that I think is really where Nintendo needs to figure their shit out. It's like, what are we?
Yeah, I guess my answer to your question, and this is much bigger than like how to fix the Switch, but like I think Nintendo needs to pivot, and they need to really start to kind of like the Disney Vault, where like Disney understands and knows what it has, and it will bring it up all the time of like, we have the classics that you love. Disney Plus does gangbusters only because it has the animated movies you loved as a kid.
Yeah.
Like they need to really lean into kind of their emulators and these remasters and start consolidating like people's childhoods. And instead of making a half-assed 2D Mario game for kids every time, just give people what they remember. Give that nostalgia and find your profit margins there.
They gotta be looking at Dead Space right now and being like, shit, if people are going this crazy for a Dead Space remake, like what can we remake?
You know,
right?
I bet if you brought up Dead Space, they'd go, "What's that?" Yeah. Like Nintendo has classically not been in tune with what anybody else is doing. They don't seem to care. Yeah, I think they should. Milking nostalgia is a little crass to say, but I think they need to start doing that.
All I gotta say is, the other game companies do what Nintendo don't.
Ooh.
Sega does what Nintendo don't, and they don't make consoles anymore.
But they make great games. Like a Dragon, Ishin, coming out
Sonic
this month.
Frontiers, James.
Hey, Sonic Frontiers, goddamn.
Any final thoughts on what Nintendo
don't? They're gonna still do.
They still will. They're still gonna.
Well, they don't.
They're gonna have one of the best-selling games of the year, so they're good. They're happy.
Yep.
They're
happy.
They don't care about us.
Unless it has some game-breaking bugs, and then we're in trouble.
They already delayed it like 3 times, James, and that's what we know about.
Can I add an addendum before we end this?
Yeah, asterisk it.
Would either of you recommend the Switch? Would you, if somebody hasn't bought a Switch yet, would you tell them like, yeah, you should still buy a Switch?
Yeah.
You buy an OLED.
For what? Is that solely for Breath of the Wild?
No,
yeah.
I think it's got an amazing back. Like if you're a casual, like if you don't.
Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yeah.
It's got a fantastic back catalog. It's easy. You can take it anywhere.
Mario Rabbids.
Yeah. I mean, it's got a great back catalog. There's so much shit on it.
I agree with Jake. There are so many. I want to go back and play Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah. It's supposed to be amazing.
Yeah, I want to play that.
$60, James.
From that answer, it sounds like the Switch is still very much alive.
Yeah.
If it's still worthy of a recommendation, both for the console and just for its condensed back catalog, Switch is fine.
I think so too. I just don't think it's a console you recommend going forward in that way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It's not a forward thing. It's like someone that wants to play next gen, PS5 all the way.
Right. PS5, yeah. And I wouldn't even recommend the Series X.
Maybe if they want to be cheap with Game Pass, maybe.
Oh yeah, Game Pass best deal.
But then you get the Series S.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. James is making good points. I think you recommend Nintendo if people are like, I like just casually gaming.
Yeah.
Well, you want to stay current with games.
Or want something with the family, some party game.
Yeah. But no, that's not what.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching the 123rd episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast. My name is Jake. 3. That's James. That's Ted. We will see you next week to talk about Hogwarts Legacy. 1 Gryffindor, 2 Slytherins, just hanging out in a big magical castle.
Great band name.
All right. 1 Griff, 2 Slyths. Sorry. My bad, guys. I'll see you next week.